The man held his breath, gently tapped his chest. Then, he drove a knife into his arm. At the bottom of a desolate canyon, his right hand was trapped between the rocks. He twisted and pulled with all his strength, but it wouldn't budge. Gritting his teeth, he pushed against the boulder with everything he had, even kicked at it, slammed into it with all his might, but the rock didn't move an inch. Exhausted, he grabbed his water bottle, gulped down mouthfuls of water. It wasn't until he was halfway through the bottle that he realized this was his only lifeline. Panicking, he screwed the cap back on tight. He emptied his pack, desperately searching for anything that could help, found a pair of pliers, and fished out a small knife with his teeth. Switching on his headlamp, he leaned in close and started chipping away at the rock. He chipped faster and faster, but the rock remained solid as ever. For hours, he kept going, but all he managed to do was scrape off some dust. Then, his grip slipped. The knife tumbled out of his hand. He tried bending down to grab it, but it was just out of reach. So he yanked off his shoe and sock, stretched his foot toward it, still too far. He grabbed a branch, clamped it between his toes, reached down. No luck. Finally, he bent the branch into a hook, carefully lowered it. This time, success. His right hand had been stuck for so long. The skin had turned black and blue. He poked at it with the knife. No feeling at all. And to make things worse, the blade was already getting dull. That night, he took out his safety rope and tried throwing it up to latch onto a rock above. But in the darkness, he missed. Again and again. After dozens of tries, he finally got it. Looped the rope around the rock, secured the harness, tied the other end around his waist. For the first time, he could lie against the boulder and actually rest. After surviving the night in the canyon, he made a brutal decision. He clenched the elastic cord in his teeth, tied it tightly around his right arm, then pulled out his multi-tool and started cutting. But the dull blade barely broke the skin, so he held his breath, tapped his chest, and then he drove the knife straight into his arm.